Well, I am super excited because a bunch of change makers in Delta world. First, we take Manhattan.
First we take Manhattan down. I haven't been to New York yet.
Oh well, then
Let's do it.
let's do it. Yes.
Yeah.
But I would just love for you to share, maybe just one at a time. Like, what is it that you do? Why do you do it?
Okay.
Fred's ready.
I am I am the illusion of being ready. I'm Fred Wells, and I run an organization called 140 Sports, where we combine mental health training with sports training. And I became involved when both my daughters developed mental health issues, and sort of rolled back in time and went with I wish we had.
And you said something about mental health in sports that really blew me away. That people are generally not wanting.
Yeah. We, you know what, we tried to introduce this, and I found, and how we came to 140 Sports is we would go to parents and tell them we want to work on mental aspects of things, and they would lose their minds and they want nothing to do with it. But as soon as I told them that we were going to work on something that would improve their child's batting average by 10 points, they'd write me a check for $1,000 and cut off their leg. So if that's the rules, and not that we were lying, because what we do does help them with batting, but more importantly, it's something that's going to help them with the rest of their life. So if that's the rules they set for us to give their kids the tools, and that's what we'll play by, and it's been great.
And so if people want to get, their child or their teen involved with you, how does that work?
Yeah, you call us up, and you can contact us through 140sports.ca. And right now we're just out in BC, and we'll make arrangements to find out about your child and their team and their needs, and then we'll bring some of our mentors out to start introducing to the program and get to know them, and hopefully we'll be moving into Alberta in the next year, and hopefully on a Vancouver Island in the fall.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
We're excited. It's a good thing.
And in sports, especially right now, there's more people are starting to really become more aware of the need for mental health initiatives in sports.
Yeah, and for a change, it's been driven from the top down. Usually a lot of things start as a grassroots, but out in Vancouver, they have the mind check through the Vancouver Canucks when they had lost Rip Ripken to suicide, who was a tough guy and a fighter and the most popular guy on the team and was indestructible, and he ended up taking his life. And now a number of the NHL teams not only have a physical therapist, but they have mental therapists too. And having that driven down from above, where we idolize hockey in our society, and if it can be acceptable for them, we're hoping we're going to use that tool to move into the colleges and then down into the high schools and elementary schools.
Yeah. So this is pretty cool that you're a dad.
I am a dad. Sometimes my kids don't admit it, but yes, I am.
So a dad who has a day job, kind of, who does this on the side.
Yeah.
Just to help.
Eventually we need all the karma we can get. So I figure with my youth, I may want to start pumping up the bank account on the other side of the frame, right? And, we're here. You're always better the second time through, right? The next time you coach, or the next time you bake something, or the next time you build something, you always improve. And I ran out of kids, so now I've learned, I've made all these mistakes and learned all these lessons, and now it's super important for me to get and give back for them to come through, just like people did for me.
Oh, that's really cool that you do that. Yeah, and funny.
Well, yeah, it's laughing or crying. I've got two choices, and I'm effective with both. So we have that effect on people. Yeah, I mean, it's a joy, and it kills me because you get a lot of people who are very appreciative of what you do, but they have no idea that I get so much more out of this than those kids could ever get. And it's, I encourage people to do it. And we brought our mentors up, who these young ladies who I coached when they were 4 or 5, and now they become the mentors and the teachers as 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds, and they're going through and passing it on, and it's an amazing gift.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Very cool.
Well, and that's one thing I noticed at our conference. Everyone I mentioned, your name to, they're like, "Oh, my kid, my kid knows Fred," or
Yeah.
"Fred made such a difference," and so you've really done some really neat things in people's lives, which is really cool.
Yeah, and you get you all know it's the reward that you get out of it, right? And there's nothing else like it. And once people start going down there and seeing that and seeing what they get back, it's so easy to get them to buy in.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Thank
That's
you.
great. And we're in a really cool room right now, in alongside you in Ladner. I wish that there was therapy places like this everywhere, where there's art supplies and, I wish that everyone could see what the whole room looks like. But tell us about this place that we're in.
My turn or your turn?
Your turn.
My turn, okay. So I'm Andrew, and this is my wife Meg, and we started this thing alongside you 4.5 years ago. Really, well, it's a long story to get into that, but the long and short of it is through my frustration with being in a system that I didn't feel like I could do what needed to be done, and through a fairly tragic car accident that shifted Meg's career instantaneously, we had an idea of what we wanted: a healing space built on evidence and research to help with mental health, physical health, all that stuff, but to do it in creative ways, and really to find ways to help people regardless of finances. We co-founded a nonprofit a number of years ago whose focus was to provide counseling and make sure that money wasn't a barrier. And we wanted to kind of do the same thing out here in our home community, but then kind of even make it bigger and include all sorts of other disciplines, all around the idea of helping people recover from whatever it was that they were struggling with. And again, to make sure money's not a barrier. And it's a bit weird, people kind of can't figure us out because the running joke is we're a for-profit that runs like a non-profit. We're working on the for-profit part, but the joy of it for us is that we can just do what needs to get done. We don't have to run it by a board. We don't have to run it by funding. We don't have to, because we don't get anything.
Take something out of the mix.
Yeah.
And we don't get caught up in red tape or rules or whatever. As long as it's ethical, we can do it. And that's the joy for us, is we can hear of a need and do something about it tomorrow, if that's something we're able to do. But the real joy for us, or for me anyways, I don't speak for you, but is that we set out with a goal 4.5 years ago to never say no to somebody because of money. And like you've seen our space, it costs a lot to operate this place.
I can imagine.
And we don't have any funders, except we have people who just donate money to us, even though we're not a nonprofit, we're not a charity, we can't give them a receipt. Through that and through the people that work with us, and our sliding fee scale and this funding, we've never had to say no to somebody, and we've done $250,000 of subsidized service in 4.5 years.
Wow.
And the brilliant part is I could not tell you how that worked. Like, I know some of the pieces, I know the finances, because that's my job is to make sure this place keeps its lights on. But I can look at all the numbers, I can look at the pieces, I can look at how much money we got in from people donating, I can look at, and it doesn't actually make sense. When you add everything up, like, we shouldn't be able to do what we're doing. And I have an answer for that. But aside from that, it's just people. We have had help from so many people who see what we're doing, including Fred, including you, including all kinds of people go, how can we help? How can we do this? People wanting to volunteer, and I'm like, crap, we don't have a volunteer program. And the people who work here, when we slide our scale, they just don't make that money. Nobody's making up the difference for them or for us, but that's the commitment, is people who work here because they want the same thing.
Well, and all the people who work here, everyone I've talked to, and they love this place. and they sing its praises and they tell how meaningful it is, and so you've got people who are in.
They're invested,
And we feel very fortunate to have the people we do. You know, it's not because Meg and I are geniuses and we have this all figured out. I mean, like, I'd never run an organization with 20 odd people working with us and all that. Like, it's just, we're just fortunate. People have come out of the woodwork to help us, and people have joined in to say, hey, we love what this idea is and let's do it, and here we are.
Wow. Wow. And then you use, so you have therapists, so there's actual counseling.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have a creative outlet.
We do. Andrew can go into what else we offer, but for my part, it is using the art studio to help people in their journey to wellness. My story stemming from a car accident is I have chronic pain, and for those of you who do live with chronic pain, it's an everyday battle. And so this space was kind of created just for me to recuperate and to do something positive, and it's kind of snowballed into this space where we have so many things that happen in here. We have programs that are not related to art in here. We have kids programs for anxiety. We have DBT groups for youth and for adults. We run sessions in here for bigger groups of our clientele. But my part here is to offer different types of creative services. So I see clients one-on-one to do pain management or mindfulness training with. Not being an art therapist is a big part of explaining what I do here, because I don't have that designation, but I call myself a creative arts facilitator. So the way that we use this room is a lot of our programs, almost all of them actually, are multi-generational. So this is really a space and a mindset that I want to bring people who are from different ages and abilities and diagnoses to come together and make art together. And that could be in a class setting, our open studio sessions where anybody can come and try anything. Those have vastly different people in it. And there you're getting a really interesting combination of people talking with each other, people that would never talk to each other. Yeah. And they're growing skills. They're learning, okay, how that person's physically disabled, how do I interact? And these are skills that our kids and even adults are not really learning, because so many programs are segregated in our community, and there are some benefits to that. But having a twin sister who has a physical disability, that has always helped me just be a little bit more aware of how people feel in a room, because of just growing up with somebody who looks different from other people. And she's a go-getter, and she's got her own full life. And so that also spurs me on, saying, look, we can all get along, we can all communicate with each other. And especially in our area, we seem to have a lot of seniors and a lot of young families. And I really wanted to see that mix a bit. So we'll do different things to celebrate our community, to support it. We just ran a knitting initiative for Azure House, Delta's transition house for women fleeing violence, and we had 5 or 6 truckloads of bags of stuff that the community had generated, and that brought kids together with adults, with family members, and that's just a little taste of what I do here. We work a lot with at-risk youth and with people who have challenges even coming to terms with counseling. So they'll often come in here first and say, I don't want counseling, but I can do some art. And then they kind of warm up to the place. And so it gives people just one more way to become well, to socialize with other people, to really think reflectively on where they're at in their life, and those skills will translate into their home life, school life, and they might be a little bit kinder or a little stronger. And And this is all stemming from an art room.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, which is really, it's a great place to be.
And it really
Yeah.
reflects your name alongside you, coming alongside
Mhm.
people, and you feel that. You feel that when you walk in here. It's
Well, that was very, very intentional, and I can't take any credit. That was all Meg's brainchild. But that's the whole purpose behind what we do and how we operate is, you know, as people hear from me if I do a talk anywhere or workshops, like they'll hear over and over, we're all here because we're not all there, and I stole that from Point Roberts as well.